Let's count down 15 forgotten one-hit wonders from 1971. These weren't just songs, they were radio ghosts of an era lit by lava lamps and heartbreak. And the final track, it was nearly lost to time, until a platinum surprise brought it roaring back.
The big stuff. Who do you think you are?
One toke over the line, sweet Jesus, one toke over the line.
Ooh, sweet Mary, baby.
Number 15, Chicka Boom, Don't Ya Just Love It by Daddy Dewdrop.
Last night I had a crazy dream about a chick in a black bikini.
You already know the sound before you hear the name. This one bounced through 71 like a cartoon gone rogue. A novelty smash that sounded like a psychedelic ice cream truck crashed into a jukebox. Chicka Boom was playful, irreverent, and totally hypnotic.
Chicka boom, don't you just love it? Chicka boom, don't you just love it?
A bizarre slice of bubblegum pop that hit number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 and then vanished. But it still lingers, especially if you ever had a transistor radio glued to your ear and a mind full of mischief. Up next, a Southern anthem with attitude that became a feminist favorite by accident. Number 14, Mr. Big Stuff by Gene Knight.
The big stuff. Who do you think you are?
If you ever strutted into a room with just the right amount of shade in your soul, this one's your soundtrack. Mr. Big Stuff was pure sass, raw soul, and Stax Records gold. Gene Knight's voice was velvet dropped in vinegar, and her only hit climbed to number 2 in 1971.
To present you, Gene Knight, with this gold record.
It spoke for every woman tired of smooth talkers and empty promises, yet somehow Knight never got another hit, leaving this funky fire starter to echo on its own. But what comes next? A British invasion offshoot with Bee Gees ties and a bittersweet twist. Number 13, Toast and Marmalade for Tea by 1010.
Toast and marmalade for tea, sailing ships upon the sea.
It sounds like breakfast, but it hit like a daydream. Produced by Morris Gibb of the Bee Gees, this track dripped with melancholic pop and psychedelic shimmer. The piano sounds warped because it was, literally. The mics were accidentally moved during recording, giving it that haunting underwater feel.
When the sun is in your eyes.
It barely cracked the top 20, but its ghost has lived on in soundtracks and cult vinyl circles, and inspired a generation of misfits and dreamers. But next, we bring it back to the soft glow of a love song, written like a poem. And I'll write you a poem if you hit the subscribe button right now. Number 12, Timothy by the Buoys.
Timothy,
You might think this one's just a rock song until the lyrics hit. Timothy tells the story of a mine cave-in and 3 trapped men. Only 2 survive. Dark? That's the point. Written by Rupert Holmes. Yes, the Escape, the Pina Colada song guy. This track masked its cannibalistic twist under upbeat harmonies. It was banned by dozens of radio stations.
Timothy, Joe was looking.
And still reached number 17 on the charts. It's taboo pop at its strangest and proof that sometimes controversy sells. But what comes next? A family group that made soul feel like sunshine for one perfect moment. Number 11, Treat Her Like a Lady by Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose.
Singing a tune from their successful album, welcome Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose.
This was pure 1971 soul, warm, vibrant, and dipped in southern charm. Treat Her Like a Lady hit number 3 and offered more than just a groove. It was a code of honor dressed in funk. The Cornelius Brothers, alongside Sister Rose, delivered harmonies like church and rhythm like a dance floor.
And I told them, treat her like a lady, treat her like
They had charisma, a message, and real potential, but it never lasted beyond a few flickers. This track, it remains their crown jewel. Up next, a soft-spoken hitmaker who wrote heartbreaks like lullabies and vanished almost as quietly. Number 10, Don't Expect Me to Be Your Friend by Lobo.
I love you too much to ever start liking you.
If you've ever had your heart broken by someone who still wanted your friendship, you already know this song. Lobo, the gentle Florida singer-songwriter, delivered this quiet dagger in 1971. It's not angry, it's not dramatic, it's just honest. With this mellow strumming and hushed pain, it climbed charts and carved space between folk and AM gold. Lobo had other songs, sure, but only this one felt like a page from your diary. But coming up, a gritty British groove that shook up rock radio, then disappeared into the fog. Number 9, Resurrection Shuffle by Ashton Gardner and Dyke.
This year, we had a fabulous new group who came onto the scene, and do you remember this one, called Resurrection Shuffle from Aston, Gardner and Dyke?
It kicks off with brass swagger and a whole lot of stomp. Resurrection Shuffle was a British blues rock banger with one foot in gospel and the other in barroom funk. It cracked the U.S. top 40 and hit big in the UK, but Ashton, Gardner, and Dyke couldn't replicate the magic. Still, this track pulsed with greasy, gritty energy, like if Joe Cocker jammed with a marching band.
You think about nothing and you're nice and high.
For one glorious moment, it felt like soul met sleaze and won. Next up, a harmony-laced ballad that felt like Motown drifting on a cloud. Number 8, I Found Someone of My Own by the Free Movement.
She said I found somebody new.
This one slides in like a slow confession and hits like a breakup you didn't see coming. I Found Someone of My Own was silky soul with a sting. The Free Movement layered their harmonies with restraint, giving the lead vocal all the space it needed to break your heart. It reached number 5, dominated soft rock radio, and then silence. No follow-up, no second act, just this bittersweet goodbye wrapped in smooth orchestration. But what's next? A DC girl group that turned changing seasons into a soul symphony. Number 7, I Love You for All Seasons by The Fuzz.
1970. 70? You sure? Okay, all right, 1970. Let's introduce ourselves. I'm Cheryl. And I'm Tony. And I'm Sharon.
Before In Vogue, before Destiny's Child, there was The Fuzz. Their harmonies were sharp, poetic, and laced with gospel hush. I Love You for All Seasons hit number 10 in 1971. Blending street corner soul with orchestral elegance. It's a love letter disguised as a time capsule, and if springtime itself had a voice, the Fuzz should have soared, but the industry shifted, and their moment faded. Still, this track feels timeless, like a memory dressed in velvet.
I love you for all seasons.
Coming up, a folk rock duo that made Getting High sound like spiritual transcendence. Number 6, One Toke Over the Line by Brewer and Shipley.
One toke over the line, sweet Jesus, one toke over the line.
It was a stoner anthem that somehow made it to the Lawrence Welk Show. One Toke Over the Line rode that perfect line between folk rock sincerity and psychedelic smirk. Brewer and Shipley weren't trying to cause a stir, but they did, especially when the FCC got nervous. Still, America sang along. The harmonies were sweet, the lyrics cheeky, and it climbed to number 10 in 1971. It was the sound of a counterculture peeking through middle-class curtains. Up next, a glam-adjacent rocker with prog roots and a storm in its bones. Number 5, Black Sky by Hudson Ford. This track turned slow like a thunderstorm you could feel in your chest. Hudson Ford spun off from the legendary band Straubs, blended progressive rock's ambition with glam-era grit. Black Sky didn't chart high in the U.S., but it became a cult hit across Europe and late-night FM radio. Its moody guitars and soaring chorus felt cinematic, a warning and a prayer all at once. The band had talent, but the spotlight passed. Still, Black Sky lingers like a forgotten prophecy. But what's next? A country soul torch song that made sadness sound seductive. Number 4, Help Me Make It Through the Night by Sammy Smith.
Here she is with her hit song written by our friend Chris Christopherson. Ladies and gentlemen, Sammy Smith.
If you ever stared at the ceiling at 2 a.m. and felt completely alone, this one found you. Written by Chris Christopherson, Help Me Make It Through the Night gave Sammy Smith her only major hit.
Help me make it through the night.
And what a hit it was. It topped country charts, crossed over to pop, and broke taboos with its raw vulnerability. No euphemisms, no apologies, just human need, plain and powerful. Sammy Smith opened doors for future female artists to be honest, not just pretty. Coming up, a soft rock ballad so gentle, it felt like a farewell kiss at a train station. Number 3, Stay a While by the Bells. This one didn't shout, it whispered. Stay a While was a duet drenched in intimacy, like a private moment you weren't supposed to hear but couldn't stop listening to. The Canadian group The Bells scored a top 10 hit in the U.S. with this tender ballad that felt like a warm, slow exhale. Its charm was in its restraint. No big chorus, no drama, just 2 voices weaving through the kind of vulnerability you only find at 2 a.m. in someone's arms. But next, a burst of power pop so catchy it practically wore bell bottoms. Number 2, Sweet Mary by Wadsworth Mansion. Power chords, clapping hands, sunshine, and stereo. Sweet Mary was power pop perfection in 1971, peaking at number 7 before slipping off the map. Wadsworth Mansion brought jangle, energy, and just enough grit to get airplay across rock and AM stations alike. It sounded like the start of something big, but there was no next chapter. Still, Sweet Mary remains one of those hidden gems that DJs drop just to watch people go, wait, I know this one. And number 1, a raspy-voiced anthem that nearly slipped through the cracks until America screamed it back into gold. Number 1, Do You Know What I Mean by Lee Michaels.
I just saw her with my best friend. Do you know what I mean?
Raw, rugged, real. Do You Know What I Mean is breakup soul filtered through a fuzz box. Lee Michaels' voice wails with unfiltered emotion, while the keyboard-driven hook makes it feel almost primal. The lyrics brutally honest. A man finds out his girl's with his best friend, and he's still trying to understand it. It hit number 6 on the charts, became an underground classic, and then silence. Michaels never landed another hit, but this one, it's carved in the heart of every listener who's ever loved and lost at full volume. If you found this deep dive memorable, hit like and subscribe so we can keep the music alive. Now, these weren't just tracks. They were sonic postcards from 1971, sealed with heartbreak, rebellion, and fleeting glory. Which of these songs hit you the hardest or surprised you the most? Next up, we're diving into 1974, where the ghosts of glam and folk clashed on every stage. You won't believe what made the list. Click the video on screen now to keep this journey going. Some legends fade, others hide in plain sight.